Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about space travel. This lecture we will discuss what is space travel, and then how to travel to the moon, the exploration of the Mars, and the argument about whether there is the possibility to stay on Mars. First, space travel is no longer a new idea. Space travel, in Collins Dictionary, refers to exploration outside of the Earth to the universe. According to NASA 2011, the first astronaut, Yuri Gagarin, traveled with Vostok 1 around the Earth for 108 minutes. This is the first traveling to the space. As we all know, in our solar system, there are 8 planets that are around the Sun. According to Daisy Dobrojavic 2022, the order from the nearest to the far away from the Sun is Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Now, how can we travel to the moon? According to Cool Cosmos, the time that need to travel from Earth to the moon is 3 days. Now, the first spacecraft that takes 3 astronauts from Earth to the moon is Apollo 11 in 1961. Refers to Institute of Physics 2022. To get into space, we need 3 steps. These are all shown in the left-hand side in this picture. So, before these 3 steps, all 3 astronauts need to check the command module. The command module was just 3 meters long and it located at the highest part of the Saturn V rocket. After all preparation has been done, we move to the first step. Step 1. We need to burn 20 tons of the fuels per second to lift the heavy spaceship up to 65 kilometers altitude from the ground. After that, we will push the rocket to the altitude of 175 kilometers. At the same time, the rocket will be in the Earth's orbit with the same speed. Finally, the rocket will be in the Earth's orbit with a speed of 28,000 kilometers per hour. To land on the moon, we know that there will be only lunar module landing on the moon. We need some tools. First, we need an engine to decrease speed. Then, we also need 4 rocket cluster to let the lunar module to landing on the moon. In 2019, there's a movie called Apollo 11. It clearly shows the whole traveling of Armstrong's and other 2 astronauts from Earth to the moon, but also from the Alyssa Wilkinson 2019. This film also shows some kinds of the scenes and sound that never published before. Moreover, from the American Museum National History, astronauts who land on the moon did many science experiments. There are 2 examples. The first one is to use the laser raining retroreflector to calculate the amount of time that laser beam needs for passing back and forth between Earth and Moon, so we can know what is the distance between Earth and the Moon. Then there's a usage of seismograph to determine how moonquake affect the moon. Now we move on to the exploration of Mars. Humans did many times exploration of the Mars. The first one is as at 1965. In 1965, the first spaceship that reached the Mars is the Mariner 4. It took several pictures back to the Earth. 10 years later, NASA made further exploration of Mars by sending Viking 1 and Viking 2 to the Mars. These are all from the Elizabeth Howell and Viking Steen 2022. Now, Viking 1 and Viking 2 took many good pictures. These two pictures are the two of the example. On the right side of the picture, it is a face on a Mars. You clearly see here. And also, this whole picture is about Cydonia region relic. The right side of the picture is really perfect, right? On the left hand side, this is the view of the Mars. Now, there are two findings from Viking 1 and Viking 2. The first one is the scientists found that there's no microbe on the Mars, so they believe there might be no life on the Mars. Secondly, when scientists test about the component of the Mars, they found that it is similar to the aerolite that is found on the Earth. What about the further exploration of the Mars? Clearly, in 2021, Tianwen-1 mission that produced by China launched onto the Mars. It has two goals. First, they wanted to know how much water are contained in the Mars soil. Second, they want to know what is the weather on the Mars. What is the temperature on the Mars? Is that suitable for humans to live on the Mars? And this mission is still working now. Now, there's an argument about whether there is the possibility for humans staying on the Mars. On my point of view, it is impossible for now. The reason behind is that, according to NASA 2020, Mars has the average of the minus 80 degrees Fahrenheit. It is a really low temperature. And also it has the dust storms. The serious dust storm can destroy you immediately. Moreover, the atmosphere on the Mars includes 95% of carbon dioxide. As we all know, humans need to breathe the oxygen. So, human might hard to breathe on the Mars. Moreover, from Elizabeth Akin 2021, Mars has the really low pressure. And also, because of the high radiation on the Mars, humans' blood might be boiled. Now, thinking about the gravity of the Mars, it is 38% of the Earth. So people will be less heavy than on the Earth, but they will facing higher risk of health issue. Lastly, Mars has less water, and also the soil on the Mars is toxic. This means we cannot use the soil to plant. So, is that possible in the future? Maybe. From the Martin 2015. In this movie, Mark Winsky was one of the crew in the team Ares 3. And this story is happening on 2035. When they are doing the science experiment, they are facing a heavy storm. And he was hit and hurted. And then every crew believed he was dead. Luckily, he survived. But in order to survive on the Mars, he needs to find water. He needs to find food. So he burned hydrogen and oxygen to make water. And in the living habitat that is on the Mars, he uses his waste, light, and other things to successfully grow potatoes for survival. At last, he luckily go back to the Earth with the help of NASA and crew teams. This film shows us there might be a possibility to stay on Mars for a short time, but maybe longer time. In conclusion, this lecture provides an overview of the space traveling and provide about the traveling to the moon in 1961 and the timeline for exploration of Mars by human. And also, we argue about there is the possibility to stay on the Mars in the future, but not now. Space travel is a continued process as the universe is as large as we cannot imagine. However, with the human technology development, humans might travel to the deeps of the universe in the future.